Hey guys, fishing and stuff. Today I got 8 awesome fishing hacks, and I'm sure you're gonna find something you like. So stick around. Today I got 8 awesome fishing hacks, and some of them are super awesome, and I'm sure you're gonna find something you like. So let's jump right into it. Fishing hack number 1. Alright, so on this first hack, I like Suffix fishing line. I really like the titanium line. It's really strong. And I like Suffix for my leaders. This one here is a mono. This line over here is a copolymer. But I use the bigger spools to line up my reels with. Then I use one of these small spools, which is 275 yards for my leader line. But the only problem with them is it falls off, and that little V on the bottom's pretty much worthless. Well, you've probably seen one of these before. It's a can cozy, and it's actually one of the can cozies I got left from a video I made where I made some reel covers, and they turned out pretty dang cool. But you can take this can cozy. The first thing I want to do is I want to take a pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut about 1 inch of the top off of it. That way it fits the spool just a little bit better. And then you just take your spool line and stick it in it. And once you get your spool line stuck in it, well, then you got your awesome holder for your leader line, and it don't come all unraveled, and you can just throw it in your boat. Well, you can take these reel covers I made, and you can do the exact same thing. Make sure you leave the top of the spool sticking up like this. That way you can read it and see what kind of line it is. Fishing hack number 2. A friend of mine told me about it, and what this is this for a battery that like goes on a drill or a cordless power tool. Now you can get these on Amazon, and you can get them for DeWalt, Milwaukee, you can get them for Rigid, you can even get them for Power Wheel batteries. You can get them for just about anything. I got mine for Rigid because I like Rigid tools. I used to use DeWalt, but I started using Rigid and they work really good. Well, the reason you have to get them for different kinds is because all the batteries are made different. But you can take the battery off your drill, and you see how the bottom's made? Well, that's what that plate is, the same thing as this. So then you can take your battery and it'll slide right on there and lock in. Now this thing has power to it right now, so that's not real safe, so I'm taking it off. And this is a great hack for kayakers, boat fishermen, or bank fishermen, because you can hook lights and things to this and run them off your drill battery instead of off your boat battery. Now this light right here turned out awesome, and I made it out of LED strip and PVC, and then I ended up putting heat shrink tubing over it to protect all of it, and it worked out really well, and I got a video on it if you're interested. But on this light, I put an end on it so I could unplug my trolling motor battery and plug the light up. And this light's 24 volts, so this 18 volt battery may not push it to its full potential, but I got a feeling it's gonna get really close. But the first thing I need to do is take this end off so we can hook it up to this. Alright, so I connected this battery holder to my light, but all I did was twist them and put some black tape on it, so it's not a very good connection. But I'm going to be taking it back off when I'm done, because I still want the end on it that hooks to my trolling motor battery. I know somebody's going to ask, how long will it last? Honestly, I don't know how long it's going to last. I just got it. Now I've got 2 amp hour batteries, and I've got some 4 amp hour batteries, and I'm going to use the 4 amp hour battery, and I'm going to hook it up to the light, cut the light on. Then I got an old cell phone that I'm going to lay here. I'm going to run the timer on it. I'm going to have to plug it into something so it don't go dead. And I'm going to do a time lapse, and we're going to see how long this thing will last. Alright, so I got everything set up now. I got my light wired to my little battery mount. I got my 4 amp-hour battery fully charged. I got a GoPro set up filming all of it. And I got a cell phone here and I'm gonna run a stopwatch on it. I'm about to stick the battery in. I'm gonna start the GoPro. I'm gonna start the stopwatch and I'm gonna let it run until this light goes dead, and we're gonna see how long this battery lasts. So we got our little experiment going, and after checking the footage, the phone ran for 5.5 hours, and finally the battery gave out. It wasn't charging as fast as it was using power, but the drill battery didn't. And I'm estimating it ran a little over 6 hours, which is actually really daggum awesome. I was hoping for 4 hours, but we got 6 out of it. Now I want to remind you, this is a 4 amp-hour battery. So what that means, if you got a 2 amp-hour battery, you're probably going to get about 3 hours out of it, which was a lot more than I thought originally. But that right there is a freaking awesome idea. I like it. Fishing hack number 3. Now on this next hack, I got this glove that you can get off Amazon, and it's not that expensive. You can actually get 2 of them. You can buy a pair. But the cool thing about this glove, it's got these little lights built into it, which is kind of cool, because you can put this glove on, and if it's dark, you can see to tie your hook without cutting a bunch of lights on and blinding yourself. I'm gonna put it on right fast and show you what it looks like. All you do is slip it on your thumb, and you slip it on your pointer finger, and then you Velcro strap it around your wrist, and you're ready to go. It's got a little on and off button on the top, which cuts the LED lights on. I'm gonna cut the lights out. I'm gonna cut the glove on, and I'm gonna get a lure or something, hold it in my hand, cut it on, and see how good it works. That's pretty cool. It's a little glove, got lights on it. Look at the table. But the purpose of this glove is if you need to tie something on, you got lights shining on whatever you're tying, and you can see it good at night without blinding yourself. You know, at first I thought, I don't know about them little lights, but that thing's pretty bright. I could even see to walk around in my building with it. That right there is awesome. Hey guys, if you've not been on my channel page, go over there and check it out, because I got a long list of DIYs that'll help you save some money if that's your thing. And if it is your thing, don't forget to click subscribe. Oh yeah, and ring the bell. I love that bird. Fishing hack number 4. This next hack is not about fishing line. It's about lining your reel. If you get you a new reel, you gotta put line on it. And if you got an old reel, you still gotta put line on it. They make all kinds of doodads and gadgets that you can use to put line on your reel. But one of my favorite ways to line a reel is in the water. All I do is get my line started on my reel. Then I take my spool line and I just throw it in the water. And while you're reeling it on your reel, the water is lubricating it and letting it turn freely, just like it's hanging on something. It'll just sit there and spin, and it won't keep getting hung up. Something else is cool. If you need to put some line on your reel out on the lake, you can just throw it in the water just like in the bucket and do the same thing. It works a lot better than you think it would. Hack number 5. But this hack right here, you probably heard somebody talk about it before, but I want to talk about it again. These right here are demon dragons. And everybody knows demon dragon is a spook topwater fishing lure. And it's got ball bearings in it and it rattles. Well, cat fishermen started using these for peg floats. And there's peg floats of every shape and every color imaginable. And all peg floats do is hold up your bait off of the bottom of the lake so your hook don't get hung. I even showed how it worked in my planer board video, how to use planer boards. It'll go across obstacles and not get hung up like a round sinker would. So you can drag it about anywhere. Yeah, this is gonna make some pretty good footage.
Hey, what you doing in my pool?
I gotta go. Well, these demon dragons do the same thing, except for one difference. They got rattles in them. Demon dragons have rattles, peg floats do not. And actually, peg floats are a little more buoyant than demon dragons, but they don't have rattles. And these over here are not demon dragons. They're actually knockoff demon dragons. These were the first ones ever made, and people's knocked them off ever since. But the problem with them is, this right here, what you see, is 5 demon dragons and 4 knockoffs. And this is $40. Here, I'll prove it. Just the Demon Dragons are $22.50. These right here are the same thing, but you can get 20 of these for $20 or less sometimes. And the only difference is these aren't painted yet. I mean, look at them side by side. They're exactly the same size, exactly the same thing, and they rattle. You can take these things and you can paint them any color you want. You can paint them red, or you can paint them green. Me personally, if I was gonna paint them, I'd paint them black. Because all of these colors are to catch fishermen. The colors don't do a thing. All these things are for is to hold your bait up off the bottom of the lake. The colors do not attract the fish, the bait attracts the fish. And if these do work, it's the rattle that's working. So if you think they work, all you really need is the rattle. And these have the rattle. Personally, I'll be honest with you. I would leave these things clear and use them. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. We use clear monofilament. But if you don't want to leave them clear, you take the paint, you paint them. But when you're done, you'll have a green or a red, or like I said, if I'm going to paint mine, I'd probably just paint them black because the colors don't matter. But honestly, I'd probably just leave mine clear if I used them, because it's still going to do everything it needs to do, and it's going to be more invisible.
Fishing hack number 6.
This is kind of a hack and it's kind of a tip, but I make a lot of sinkers, and I like making my own sinkers. A lot of times I'll buy my own sinker molds. This here's a nice one, and I've got several videos where I made my own sinker molds, and they're pretty dang simple. Well, the most asked question that I get on my channel page is where I get my lead from. And first of all, if you live in a state where you can't use lead, I've even made a video on that, about lead alternatives that you can use to make sinkers with. And the first thing I want to say is everybody says use tire weights, and tire weights are great for making lead sinkers, but there's not many lead tire weights anymore. Over half the tire weights you find are not made out of lead, and they will not melt. Me personally, I like finding this lead sheet because I know it's pure lead, and I like using that to make my sinkers out of. Now, a great place that a lot of people don't think about to get lead is off of cast nets. I got a buddy, he throws a cast net a lot, and when his cast nets get a lot of holes in them, he gets rid of them. Well, he don't make his own sinker, so he'll give me his old cast nets. Now, all I gotta do is take the scissors and start cutting this thing apart. This is what I ended up with, and that's a lot of weight. I don't have my scale, so I'm not sure how much weight it is total, but I know this is at least 5 pounds. Now, you could take these things and use them as sinkers if you put a bead on both ends, or you can take them, melt them down, and make some sinkers like I said. But this right here leads me to my next hack.
Fishing hack number 7.
Which is how to make your own ingots. Lead ingots get very expensive. I mean, they cost a lot of money, but there's a way you can make your own ingots, and all you need is a melting pot and a muffin pan. I'm heating up the pot, I'm gonna throw all this lead in there, and we're gonna make our own ingots. There's a lot of advantages to making your own ingots because you won't have this kind of mess here in your bucket. You can have all this lead and not even use a quarter of this bucket. But the first thing we gotta do is turn on our melting pot. I'm throwing the lead in it. It melts down pretty fast. After it's melted, we want to pour it into the muffin slots and fill each one up until we don't have any lead left. So basically, with this little muffin pan that cost $1, I turned this into this, and that's quite a space saver. Plus, it's clean lead now. It's all been cleaned out, so the next time I use it, I won't have to.
Fishing hack number 8.
Now, I made a video a while back about these aluminum brazen rods, and I use Harbor Freight rods, which are called aluminum weld, and I used the Hobart, which are called aluminum brazen rods. And the reason I did it is because you can make stuff with aluminum without being able to weld aluminum. And if you watch that video, you know this stuff turned out really daggum strong. This one piece I made as a sample, I never did break it. I beat on it with everything, it just won't come apart. And on the video, I made this rod holder, which turned out really cool, really strong. Went to the lake and tested it out a little bit, but I really did like this stuff. Well, on this hack, I wanted to show you something else you could do with this that's pretty cool. I've got a buddy that works on boats a lot. He makes things for boats. You may know who he is, you may not. Yeah, he was on the step video too. But he repairs boats a lot. And I took a chisel and knocked a hole in this piece of aluminum to show you an example of what I'm talking about. The first thing you need to do to use this aluminum brazing rod is you need to clean your port really good. After you get your port good and cleaned, then you take a torch and you heat up the aluminum. You don't heat the rod, you heat the aluminum. When you get the aluminum 400 degrees, it will melt the rod like a soldering iron. And you just fill the hole up, and then, well, as you can see, it turned out pretty dang good, and it sealed the hole up. Got a little bubble in it, but the hole's sealed. And my aluminum warped just a little bit. It's not really because of overheating. It's because it's really cold out here, and it's nighttime, and my vise is ice cold. But I've watched my buddy do this, and it works. And it's a good idea for patching holes, and you don't have to get it welded. Now let's see how tough this stuff is. It ain't broke loose at all. It ain't even started to pop up. This is some tough stuff. This aluminum brazing works really good. There's two other ways you can fix your boat hull if something happens to it. A lot of people use JB Weld to fix their boat hulls. And if you got a really small hole, you can drill a hole in it and put a rivet in it.
Well, I think all 8 of those hacks turned out awesome. Especially that battery hack, because that was super awesome. Guys, don't forget, if this was your first time on one of my videos, go check out my channel page.
Click subscribe, people. What you waiting on? What you waiting on?
If you find something you like. And as always, I appreciate you watching. And I'll see you on the next one. And shut up, bird! And I'll see you on the next build.